All right, so this is the first ever Surf for All sit down, and I want to welcome all the viewers. Anybody that doesn't know about Surf for All, roots back in 2002, and our mission is very simple. The ocean is a sense of healing and spiritual strength that should be accessible to all, and has an amazing people that are involved in it, and it's very inclusive. And today, on top of that, we have very own Chris Levy, who has been one of our star athletes through the summers. I'm really stoked and honored that you're here on our first Surf for All sit down. This is a good way we can unwind after the waves, and it's so like involved and intense when you're in the ocean, and this is a way we could just get to know you better.
Yeah,
Well, welcome.
uh, every time that we're out there and the Surf for All volunteers and coaches and everybody's in the water helping us, so impressed with your guys' ability to actually swim in those waves because we've surfed some in some weather that was I don't know, some choice weather, and you guys are always so strong and get across the water so fast. I don't know how you get reset by the next time that we get out there on the boards, but yeah, there's never like a slowdown on the water. It's always amped up.
Yeah, and I don't know how you reset. I think you inspire all of us, to be honest, Chris. And you know, really part of this, and I want to say this is like a new thing for us. We're at my buddy Jay's spot, Florid Media. We're psyched to be here. This place is beautiful, um, and you know, this is something that is new, and I really think the viewers will want to know a little bit about your story. Can you give us some history of who you are, where you're from? You know, obviously, you served our country proudly. We're really honored, even that you're part of our foundation, and you know,
Well, yeah, that honor goes definitely mutually both ways because I'll tell you, well, when I was a kid, growing up on the beach, I think everybody could relate to this. Anybody who hasn't been surfing and seen somebody surfing always wishes they could be the one on the board, even if they've never surfed before. That's always been me. But I joined the military, or I joined the army after military school, and served for 6 years. I've been to Afghanistan, been to Iraq, and in that time, developed definitely a sense of service and a sense that I wanted to help my community, help my country, and want to be, do all that stuff. And since being wounded in Iraq in 2008, my life, although the locations and stories have changed, the amount of impact that people have had on me that I've ran into is insanely amazing. And having been invited, I don't even know who originally invited me to the beach when we first started surfing because I think somebody said, if do you want to surf? And I jumped on it and said yes. And then all of a sudden I got like a reminder the next day, hey, you agreed to surf at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I felt completely unprepared. I was like, I'm still going. I'm still doing it. I don't care how tired I am. And from getting out there, meeting you, meeting Will, meeting everybody at the surf shop that day. So many people, I can't even remember all the names. And then as soon as we were on the water, I was like, I know this is something I want to support, something I want to do. And it's not even because of just the personal experience. Like the personal experience is insanely grand, and I felt like so fulfilled being able to surf. But then when you guys work with Limkine Foundation or the other organizations that come down to the beach and seeing the kids that may have been born with missing limbs from accidents and seeing them in the beginning when everybody's got that look of apprehension, including the parents, they've got that look of apprehension on their face. And as soon as they get up on the board and just they become these like lights that shine so bright. And it's another organization that's down there too.
yeah. I remember when you came down. It was the Challenge Athletes Foundation,
There you
and
go.
these guys came in, one of the biggest, foundations in the country.
Yeah.
That
I actually met them when I was at Walter Reed in 2008 or 9. Challenge Athlete Foundation. I did a marathon with them. Um,
really. You ran a marathon.
No, I biked the marathon, which is pretty easy on a bike to find
But
out.
still, I mean, you're biking marathons. That's pretty awesome.
And well, the Challenge
That's pretty
Athletes
sick.
Foundation is they're huge, you know, and they have a massive impact. And yeah, like so I was able to run into them, and then running into them again on the beach. They they definitely help, but it's those are all really avenues to get to Long Beach and to get to the Surf for All and the Skudin Surf Camp, and you got your guys' family down there. Really gives it feels like always feels like an extended family to be down there. You know, like you always feel like you're part of the group. So it's
Thanks, Chris. I think it's mutually. All the athletes that come down from Surf for All, it is a sense of family, and seeing everybody through the years come back year after year, session after session, improving and really inspiring others. And that's what you are. You're an inspiration, and we love when you come down. We love when you surf. And so just rewind a little bit about, I know you said you biked a marathon, and you obviously, did you ever think you would ever be surfing? I know you said you went to Iraq, you had an accident. And,
it wasn't an accident.
I'm sorry.
They were attempting to write me off, but they failed.
Yeah,
Thanks to our medics.
So
I'm sorry, I love that joke.
okay.
People
That's
get so shocked when they say like, "Oh, when was your accident?" I'm like, "Oh, it wasn't an accident. They were trying to murder me, but they didn't. They failed."
Yeah, thank God. Honestly, I know it's like a touchy thing, so I don't want to
No,
overstep
it's not touchy to me. One of the good things being in a military environment from a young age and being in the Army is I really no sense of shame or like embarrassment about anything that's happened, because everything that I could look and point to and do, I can say that I was doing with the best of my ability and the best of intentions, which
Right.
it's just like I think that's the sense you really get from all the volunteers, all the people that working at the Surf for All, and the sense that you get from people on the beach is that even if the weather changes, even if something goes wrong, even if there's a piece of equipment that should have been working that isn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't like nobody's upset or taken down for a single second that everything's not right. They just feel like the mission's so important and the focus is there that they'll get people up on the surfboards, regardless. And being able to surf with Will the first day, I remember I was joking around on the beach, and there was as soon as you get out on the water, that's what you're there for. That's what the focus is. And I could imagine it's the same for the kids that when they show up and may have a missing arm, may have a missing leg, and everything is so in their head on the shore. As soon as they get out in the water with you guys, as soon as they get on the waves, like all that's gone, and it's just like surfing for the day.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, it's as much as it is for the volunteers. I think really for guys like yourself that come down and you been through some serious things in your life, and to come down and to prove that you could still surf. It's really inspiring. And I love how I want you to touch on your legs, because I notice you have different types of legs when you're surfing. You have can you talk to us a little bit about your surfing? Because sometimes, but sometimes you're, you've obviously talked to me about it, but I think the viewer would like to learn a little bit about, your different legs. You're doing different things for different sports and different activities, and how you get around,
Well, it's that's one of the military mottos, right? Stay adaptable, stay flexible. First, I have to give a big thanks to Sue at Hangar Clinic, there in Merrick Road, and Sue was able to actually come down because she lives in Long Beach, and you guys are so well known in so many different areas. She was volunteering for the same surf camp that I was showing up at the first day,
cool.
and being able to have that relation, she's been able to really help me with every kind of foot or leg that I could get that would work on the board. And
I know we definitely tried out a few different types. I remember you like, Cliff, I got the sickest legs. I'm coming down. I'm gonna try these things out. And then you would show up with these like really small, stubby little legs.
Yep.
And then like the feet on them were a little bit different, and but they work pretty good.
Yeah, they all, it's like having different, multi tools to work different projects. There's sidekick feet that I have that they're almost just small squares, and they have rubber bearings in the front and back that allow me to tilt and laterally and in different directions. But then I also have feet that have internal ankles in them, so it raises me up higher on the board.
Really?
But then it also gives me a greater, a larger foot that I'm standing on. So there's all these different intricate things, and one of the great things that I love about surfing, I think there's a Weezer song about it. Cars will run out of gasoline, but the waves will still keep, rolling in. So as many times as you guys stayed with me to go out for another one and another one, really that was what was inspiring me to be able to keep going out and get back up. So it really is like if everything feeds on the positivity on the water.
Yeah, and I know we've had different ways of the way you've surfed. Like we've had times where we actually had you up on the wave, like already standing, and put you in waves, and we also did some popping up, which I think you've definitely improved on. Being able to have that, paddle into your own waves, pop up and get and fly down the wave, I think is the ultimate. And like you are, and I think that's where the legs come in, because before you didn't have those. There's ones that Sue built, which were like specialized.
And it's also the legs are a big part of it. The sockets and the fit are also another big part of it, because I remember the first time I showed up, it might have been the second time I showed up, and I was like, I made some improvements. And you were like, all right, let me take a look at them. And I had I had bike shorts on over the sockets with garden wire like sewn through the shorts to be able to like tighten them up so that they couldn't come off. And it's like, but sitting around trying to solve all the problems that prevented me from being able to do what I wanted to do on the board, it was I love the term stoked. I'd never been able to use the term stoked until I started surfing and been able to say I've been on a surfboard. But everything was stoked. Like I was stoked about everything, just putting legs together, trying different things, talking to Sue, the prosthetist, about how I get a better fit, doing this and that.
So you have such a positive outlook, Chris. You're in the hospital. When did you have that moment of saying, I'm gonna do everything and anything to live life? And like, was it hard to, because you're living life, you're doing things, you're surfing, you said you biked a marathon. I mean, you probably can go on. When did that happen? Like, was there a moment of like, like what happened? Like, how did, like, play us through that?
When I was in the military and serving with, the guys I served with, there was always the possibility something could catastrophically change your life at any second. And it didn't matter if it was in training. It didn't matter if it was in combat. It's dangerous working in some environments. So, that, the danger is always there, but it's how do you prepare for it to be able to overcome and get back to where you were before? And do you have a mission, that's really worth all the pain and suffering you're going to have to climb through to get there? And, there was some second guessing if I'd be able to find a mission like that again. If, serving your country is a great, a motivating mindset. But then, when I was wounded and, I was wondering, would anything be able to be that grand again? I was very quickly proven that I had no worries, because the people I was able to run into at Walter Reed and the organizations like the Challenge Athlete Fund that I was able to speak to while I was there just showed me that there were so many avenues and so many ways that I would be able to find a sense of fulfillment and get a mission again. And then being able to come down to Long Beach and work with the organizations that Surf for All works with, being able to see kids' faces light up, I've found more fulfillment, I would say, only because of age probably, and I'm able to, from experience, have a greater grasp of things. But yeah, like it's not that anything was ever, I didn't think that anything would be lessened because I was wounded, but I've always been surprised at how much more there is that I've been able to find out and do since being wounded.
Wow.
So, it's motivating to myself, and I'm sure all veterans and wounded veterans when they come back to their communities.
Yeah, and you do. I know you've told me you do a lot with the VFW and other after serving our military, you're very involved. Can you talk a little bit about that? What you do?
Uh, yeah, I I wish I could do more, but there's so many different organizations and groups, including the Long Beach VFW. Uh, my sister, who lives in Long Beach, got married on the beach, and I still was very early in my prosthetics at that time. And when the VFW heard that I had trouble participating in my sister's wedding because it was on the beach and I had trouble walking on the sand, they were so quick to offer me the track chair that I was able to actually have a vehicle that I could go out on the beach and be able to, make it to the water and the shore. And, you know, it wasn't anything about my specific situation where they reached out and helped me. It was that they had somebody in our community that needed help with something, and they jumped on it, almost instantly. So there's so many different organizations, including a lot of the events and stuff that I'm involved in. But I could start thanking people now, and it would be an hour, multiple hour long series.
Yeah, and in Long Beach we have the the Waterfront Warriors, which is an incredible organization that every summer they bring people just like yourself from Walter Reed. They come to Long Beach and they vacation, and that is 100% volunteer organization. Nobody, they're there they don't even let media there. They're very, it's very select, quiet, and they just want to have a great time for the the vets that are there.
I've been able to be on a few Waterfront Warrior events, and yeah, it's not just bringing them down to Long Beach so that they can have a weekend on the water. We went into New York City with like a Imagine Dragons concert, and it came back. We had there at a parade in Long Beach up and down the road. And
sick.
Yeah, it's like you can't not, like, I'm getting tingles on the back of my head right now just thinking about it. It's like when you're there and all the stress melts away and everything's set up and everybody there is just 100% ready to go for anybody who needs to ask questions, anybody needs anything. So yeah, they have Waterfront Warriors. That's another one.
I've done that before when I went to the city and you're like flying down in the police, the whole back.
The police escort?
Yeah, the escort.
Oh man, that makes
you
feel special when you got
and just fly. Like all the traffic's moving away, and you guys are the real superheroes of this world. I think of yourself. You are. You are amazing, and I'm so happy that you came here today and talked a little bit about surfing and your life and where you are. And the last thing I want to ask you, which our viewers, is like, what's for Chris in the future? Like, what are your goals? Your last thing, like, where do you see yourself?
Well, I see myself watching Surfer All sit downs, regularly. that's one thing. Tune in, and but like, there's been a lot of struggle. A lot of people have had trouble over the last 2 years. Ever since 2019, 2020 started the world on a completely different course than we were going on to previously. There's a lot of people that have been in their houses, a lot of people that have been wanting to get back to regular life, and I really want to get back out on the beach. I want to get the organizations all back down to the Surf for All surf camp. I want to get everybody coming back out and beginning the healing again. And if just leaving your house in a long time is a sense of healing, I can't imagine the multiplier that's going to have when we're up on surfboards again on the water. That surfing is one of those things that I truly think everybody who hasn't done it and has ever seen anybody surf knows they want to do it. And there might be a barrier, cognitive barrier to them getting on a surfboard, but there's absolutely no physical or, real barrier to it, because I've been down there with you guys. I could tell you that there's no other barrier than your own mindset than keeping you off a surfboard. So,
yeah, thanks, Chris. And the ocean is probably, I believe, one of the safest places as far as after this pandemic. The ocean, the waves, the outdoors, being on the beach. When you're out there in the water, you're very separated from other people. I think there's a calmness of like being, is definitely like a sense of being one with the environment, and it's hard to put it in words.
Yeah.
It's like,
tried many times and failed. I understand.
I'm trying right now, but
yeah, it's one of those things that's like trying to describe something awe-inspiring. You're like, well, it's all inspiring. Like, yeah, well, how is it awe-inspiring? Like, there's a sense of awe. You can't put that into words.
Yeah, it's hard. It is, and yeah. So on that note, I want to thank Jay with his new spot, Florid Media. Awesome. Thank you, Chris, for coming down, serving our country. We love that you're a part of our foundation. We love that when you come and surf. I think I know all the volunteers, all the instructors, everybody down there is inspired from you. And I've seen, just like you said, the Limb Kind Foundation, the kids that maybe just lost a limb or, see what you're doing. You're inspiring thousands of people, so thank you for doing what you do.
I appreciate it, but that is a very big, humble thank you back to you guys, because it's quite obvious that everybody knows the idea of veterans and military serving the country, but I truly believe you and your family and the Skudin Surf entire boardwalk down there with Surf for All. You guys are serving your country in a way that is also what makes it worth being a soldier. There's no soldier fighting for a country that doesn't love the country, and it's really hard to love a country that doesn't go out and do things, but it's really easy to absolutely love a country when you come back and you see the shore, lined with people, smiling kids that are getting up on surfboards for the first time in their life. That's what gives us drive, I think. So it's a big thank you back.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you, Chris. Really.
I appreciate it.
All right,
All right. Too, man.
Surf for All, sit down.
Yeah. Tune in
for next week. We're going to be back.